Welcome to my latest 2023 NFL preview. Today I am breaking down the Seattle Seahawks. Here's how my breakdowns work. I start off with 3 things I like about the Seahawks, followed by 3 things I don't like. Then we go over to yearly win total odds. I break down the schedule, and at the end, I give you my betting recommendation and let you know if I am putting action down on the Seahawks. Let's kick this off with the first thing I like about Seattle Seahawks. The first thing I like is Bobby Wagner coming back to Seattle. Seattle's defense was absolutely terrible last year, especially the run defense. Since the Rams only won 5 games, Bobby Wagner's 2022 season was really overlooked, but he did lead the Rams with 140 tackles and was second on the team with 6 sacks. He was named second team All-Pro, but I firmly believe that the Rams had a better record, he would have been first team All-Pro. He comes back and will be needed with some fresh faces up front, something I'm going to get to later on in the video, but Wagner is the key. Teamed with Jordan Brooks, this inside linebacker duo will again be one of the best in all of football. The second thing I like about Seattle Seahawks is their wide receiver trio. Metcalf and Lockett both went for over 1,000 yards receiving last year and couldn't be more different type of players. Metcalf's size-speed ratio is probably the best in the NFL. Not just receivers, I mean players. You could name a receiver with more raw athletic ability in the NFL today. Then you have Tyler Lockett, whose route running cans combo is maybe the best in the NFL and physically could not be more different than Metcalf. Enter Jackson Smith-njigba. JSN played mostly in the slot in Ohio State, and that is exactly what Seattle needs. He is the perfect possession slot receiver that complements both Metcalf and Lockett perfectly. You could not find 3 more different types of receivers or 3 receivers that complement each other better than these 3. Yes, even though he hasn't started a real game in the NFL yet, as I'm making this video, JSN will be a very good NFL wide receiver. The third thing I like about the Seahawks is that they are loaded with pass rushers. Both Nwasu and Taylor had 9.5 sacks each, which tied for the team lead. Seattle overall had 45 sacks, which is not a bad number, but last year's second round pick Boy Mafe has been called by Pete Carroll the team's quote-unquote most improved player. I remember coming out of Minnesota, he was raw, but after a year or 2, he could be special. It appears that he is going to start over Taylor in 2023, but Seattle didn't stop with just 3 pass rushers. They drafted Derek Hall in the second round out of Auburn. He's another guy like Mafe who should play year 1, but might take a year or 2 to develop. Overall, Seattle is loaded with pass rushers, and the 45 sacks they had last year should be less than what they will have in 2023. To recap the 3 things I like about the Seahawks, you have Bobby Wagner returning, the wide receiver trio, and pass rushers galore. Before I reveal the 3 things I don't like about the Seahawks, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and makes you an awesome person. Now, 3 things I don't like about the Seattle Seahawks. The first thing I don't like about the Seahawks was the terrible 2022 run defense. Last year, Seattle was 30th in rush yards allowed, 27th in rush touchdowns allowed, and 26th in yards per carry. Yes, Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams are coming back, plus multiple changes along the defensive line, but this was the reason you fired longtime defensive coordinator Ken Norton to begin with, and your defense got considerably worse. Last year, expectations were an all-time low, but since you went to the playoffs last year, the defense must improve or heads will roll. The second thing I don't like about the Seahawks is the offensive line questions. Seattle gave up 46 sacks last season, and the offensive line has been a question mark in Seattle for the last couple of years. Last year, the Seahawks started a pair of rookie tackles, something that hasn't happened in about 40 years. Cross and Lucas played well as rookies, and if they continue to improve, Seattle is set at tackle for years to come. On the interior, you bring in journeyman Evan Brown, who didn't stay healthy last year, and Phil Haynes, who in his first 4 years with the Seahawks has started 5 games. Don't get me wrong, this offensive line could be improved, but 46 sacks given up is a lot. This unit must be better in 2023 for Seattle to return to the playoffs. The final thing I don't like about the Seahawks is I'm not sold on Geno Smith. Don't get me wrong, he played fantastic last year. He went to and deserved deserve to go to the Pro Bowl. I have never questioned Geno Smith's accuracy or intelligence, but I do question if you can advance in the playoffs with Geno as your starting quarterback. As a backup quarterback, I thought Geno was a great fit and as good as it gets, but as a starter, I still have my doubts. If he improves in 2023, I'll be first to say I was wrong, but if he regresses, who takes the blame for not using either of the first round picks or both second round picks on a quarterback in this draft? You'll be forced to give up something to take a quarterback in the 2024 draft when you could have got your quarterback this year with the extra draft capital you acquired for trading your future Hall of Fame quarterback in Russell Wilson. To recap my 3 don't likes: the 2022 run defense, questions on the offensive line, and I'm not sold on Geno Smith. Now let's look at the yearly win total odds and break down the Seahawks schedule. If you don't understand yearly win total odds, you can check out my tutorial video listed here. Barstool, Caesars, and DraftKings all have different starting numbers, and all 3 sites offer variations. Now the starting numbers for all 3 sites are different. You go from anywhere from 9.5 to 8.5. I'm going to let you know right now, on paper, this is a better team than the one that won 9 games last year, but let's check out the schedule first. Seattle has an early bye, which I think is an advantage considering they are going to rely heavily on a few rookies. When I look at the first 7 games, you have 4 very winnable home games and 3 tough road games. See, Cincinnati travels to Arizona week 5, so you have a rest advantage, plus you might not have to play against Joe Burrow. In my opinion, Seattle will need to start the season no worse than 5-2 if you want to make the playoffs. Week 9 is a tough early game on the East Coast against the Ravens. Then you play Washington and travel to LA to play the Rams. Weeks 12 through 15, I could easily see Seattle going 0-4. Then they finish with 2 games on the road and host Pittsburgh week 17. If you like the Seahawks to win 9 or more games, you need a very fast start, because after week 8, I really don't see more than 3 or 4 wins. In my opinion, Seattle's an 8-9 win team that I would strongly recommend not putting action on. I know I'm not, and I don't recommend you do either. But this is my opinion. I really want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let's talk football. You can check out all 32 NFL previews listed here. Monday, I previewed the Miami Dolphins, and I hope to see you back on Monday.